Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you a couple of pieces from the newly released. It's from the Dior Mitzah Collection, and this goes on sale at Harrods on the 26th of December. I wouldn't be surprised though, perhaps if it goes on sale at some Dior websites as well, but I'm not too sure if or when that is going to happen. But if that does happen, I will pin a comment to this video, and I'll also update my community page as well, and also my stories on Instagram. So the couple of pieces that I picked up, it is the Dior 10 Couleurs. It is the high color eyeshadow wardrobe. This has 18.3 grams of product, and it is made in France. And this is the packaging that it comes in. It is supposed to be 10 eyeshadows, but I'm going to be using these as a blush as well. There are a couple of deeper shades that possibly could be used as a bronzer, but just looking at them, I haven't swatched these yet. I've only taken photos for Instagram, but just having a look at them, I probably wouldn't use them for bronzers for me. Maybe if you had a deeper skin tone than me, it could be suitable. So I won't use those as a bronzer today, but what I will do is swatch them against two of the Dior bronzers that I do have, because the packaging of this Mitzah collection I think is really, really beautiful. So this is what it looks like, and it has the leopard print, and it has sort of a textured finish, but none of it is raised. But I think the packaging is really, really beautiful. And initially, this is why I got it for the packaging. I love the majority of products from Dior, and just like Chanel, I do tend to collect these pieces. So I'll open this up so you can take a look at it. As it is a big palette, there's also a really big mirror inside. And here is the color story. Now, this is quite a pink color story. There's only sort of one brown terracotta shade in here. There looks to be a mixture of satins, and there's a couple of shimmers and possibly a couple of mattes as well. So it has what looks like in the middle there, the normal quint in the middle, but instead it is split into 6 shades. And the 2 shades that I think could possibly be used as bronzers are probably these two. This is the brown, this is the one that is more red. I think that would be far too deep, and this one probably far too orangey for me. But like I was saying, it could suit deeper skin tones, and that's why I'm going to swatch them against the couple of bronzers that I do have from Dior, just so you can see the difference in the shades. So I haven't touched this palette yet, so I'm going to swatch this now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch it from left to right and top to bottom, and the 2 middle triangle shades in here, I will swatch those last. So this is from top to bottom and left to right in the palette. So this is starting on the left, and these are the 2 shimmer shades, and I think these will make really beautiful highlighters, and they throw a little bit more warm. So really, apart from the shade here, you've got these pinks, you've got some peaches as well, and the reds. These are the 2 middle shades. I think this would make a beautiful highlight as well, and also when doing eyeshadow for the inner corner. And as well as this eyeshadow palette, I also picked up the Dior Forever the Cushion Powder. Now, I haven't opened this, and the other cushion powders that they've released, at least the last couple that they have, they've been more of a lavender with a glitter in it, and I haven't used it. I've just seen a couple of videos on it, and I know that that wouldn't suit me. So I'm not sure whether this has the lavender powder with the glitter in it either, but it has got that really beautiful, the leopard print on the front. It does look really, really lovely, but I am going to open this up today, and we'll take a look and see if it's the same powders that they've released before. So I am going to do 3 eye looks today. First, I'll just do 1 look on each eye, and I'll use more of the bolder colors probably. And for the last look, I'll probably do a look that I would wear from this eyeshadow palette, more of, well, hopefully an everyday type of look. But we'll just take a look at those two darker shades first, the ones that I said could possibly be used as a bronzer, although I won't be using those as a bronzer today. I do have the Dior, it's the Forever Natural Bronze, and I have them in 05, and I've also got it in 06. So what I'm going to do is swatch 05 and 06 first. So this one is 05 and this is 06 in the Dior bronzes. And now we've got the two shadows. So this is the one that's more brown, and it's just, when you compare it to these two bronzes here, it would just be far too deep for me. I mean, I have finger swatched it, so it's going to be a lot deeper. You could pick it up lighter with a really fluffy brush, but I still don't think it would be suitable as a bronzer for me. And this is the shade, and this throws more red. This, to me, could be used more as a bronzer just by looking at it than this one here. I think that this one really throws quite orange, but I do think these could look quite beautiful on a deeper skin tone. So quite a big difference on the face of it, looking at that it could possibly be a bronzer, even though this is an eyeshadow palette, when you look at the usual bronzers that Dior have. And just while I'm wiping those swatches off, I do have all my base makeup on already. It's a Dior foundation, and I've got the Dior Forever Natural Bronze in 05 on as well. I've also got concealer and eyeshadow primer on as well. Now when I swatched these eyeshadows, they felt very soft in the pan, and I think they're going to be quite pigmented. So it's going to be interesting to see which different looks I can come up with. As I was saying, I'm going to do 3 looks, one on each eye, and I'll probably go a bit deeper with those and use the colours when on the face of it I wouldn't really normally reach for them, and we'll see how those look. Colours that throw a bit red tend to make me a little bit nervous. If I'm not careful with them, they can make me look like I have sore eyes, and yet some people can wear these type of shades with the more red in them and look absolutely stunning. So I just want to do these different looks using some of the deeper shades as well, because people that have skin tone similar to mine is a light medium, more towards a medium, can see how these shadows look. And also someone perhaps with a deeper skin tone would think, well, I think it would look quite good on me. And if you like the look of this colour story, then you might want to pick it up. It's quite interesting that they did 10 eyeshadows in one palette for Dior. I think this could be really called, I don't know whether it be a face palette, but I do think it could be called an eyeshadow and blush palette, because there are at least 2 or 3, if not some more shades that I would definitely use as a blush. Some of them are really, really pretty for that. So for the first eye look, let's dive straight into one of these deeper colours. And I think it's going to have quite a bit of pigment. So this Rapha number 14 brush is quite fluffy. So I've only just sort of tapped it in, and there is quite a bit of pigment. So this colour sort of looks quite red, but it has, I think it definitely has a bit of brown in it as well. So it's not as bad on the eye as I thought it was going to be. This is one that I'm going to try it anyway. I will put some of the shade on my lower lash line as well and just see how it looks. These feel really lovely and soft. They are blending out really, really beautifully. So I'm going to take this on G. This is the pencil one. I'm going to stay with that same shade, and I am going to put this on my lower lash line. Hopefully when the look is all finished, it won't look like I have sore eyes. I think it's going to be okay. As I said, it doesn't seem to be as red as I thought it was going to be. I'm going to take my Chukahodo, this is the F06 brush, and I think I'll go into this shade here. I think this could be a shimmer shade. So this is quite a pink shade. It's quite pretty though. I think the shade, this one is really, really lovely. And again, there is quite a lot of payoff. So I've just wiped down the Sonji, the pencil one, and I'm going to stay with that shade. And I'm going to put a little bit of that just through here. And then I've just wiped down the Sonji, the pencil one again, and I'm going to go into this lighter shade here and just put a little bit of this in the inner corner. This is a shade as well, I think would look good right on the brow bone. I'm not going to use that today. I don't tend to put shimmery shades right on my brow bone, but I know a lot of people like to do that and it looks really good. So it's definitely a shade that you could put on your brow bone if you wanted to. It's nice and light. And now I've just gone back into the deeper shade again with the pencil one, and I'm just going to add a little bit more depth into the outer corner here. I will put mascara on once I've finished both eyes so you can take a look. So at this stage I think the colours look a lot better on the eye than I thought they were going to. I think that this shade here is really beautiful, and I don't think it makes my eyes look as if they're sore at all. And this shade through here, sort of like a peachy pink, I think that is really lovely too. So I've finished this eye look, so now I'm going to start on the second one. And again, I'm going to go into one of the deeper shades first. I'm just going to wipe down my Rapha number 14. And I'm going to go into this top shade. This is the one that I think is sort of a terracotta, would be far too orangey for me as a bronzer. So again, it's a shade that I do think looks more beautiful on the eye than when I initially swatched it. And looking at it in the pan, it's quite an earthy type of shade. It's really, really lovely, and these are just blending really, really beautifully. So I'm going to take my Chukahodo brush again, and now I'm going to go into this shade here, and I'm going to put that through here. This is very, very bright. I'm going to put another shade over the top though and see how that looks. Then I'm going to go back with the pencil one, go back into the shade, and I'm going to use this on my lower lash line. There is a little bit of fallout with these shadows. And then I'm going to go back into this shade here that I use for my other eye, and I've wiped down my pencil one, and again I'm just going to put some just through here. And then for the inner corner, I think I'll go into the shade here. These are the ones that I think make beautiful highlighters, as well as over the top or underneath one of the shades for a blush as well. But this is really lovely in the inner corner as well. So after putting mascara on, it definitely makes both eye looks even more pretty. I think it looks really lovely. Now I haven't put eyeliner on, and normally I would. I'd probably put on a brown one, and the reason I haven't is that I've now got to very soon wash this off for my third and final look, and with the mascara and an eyeliner together it's just a bit harsh to have to do that, but normally I would have an eyeliner with this. These are better on the eyes and much more prettier than I thought they were going to be. I thought with using both of the deepest colours in there that I was going to have eyes, especially with that one that's more red. I thought that my eyes were going to end up looking sore, but they don't look, or this one that I've used it on, it doesn't look like that at all. And the shadows blend really beautifully. There are so many different looks that you could do with this palette, but really I just wanted to show you a couple of eye looks using the more bolder colors. And now I'm going to wash this off, and then when I come back I will do a look. Although now that I've got these on, this is a look on either eye that I would wear for my day-to-day makeup. And even though they're pigmented, they just blend out really beautifully as well. And they give a much more, just a really lovely softer look than I thought they were going to. But my third and final look, I'm going to try and get a more softer look out of this palette if I can. But these have turned out much better than I thought it was going to from when I first saw this palette, and then a little while ago when I did the swatches. I think it's really lovely. So I'm just going to wash these off and then I'll be back. For my third and final look, I won't do any more talking while putting on the eyeshadow, and when I'm editing this I'll just put some music to it.
And fishes, they follow the flow. What if one tried to mention that there was much more to explore? Here I am, I have a plan, I'm living free, don't know where I'll land. Here I am, I have a plan, I'm living free, don't know. Dragonfly heard the message. Darkness was home for the star. It spread its wings to the surface. The bright colors set them apart.
So now I know why I wear either an eyeliner, or if I have a really deep shade for an eyeshadow, I use that as a liner as well, because not only does it make my eyes stand out more, but it also makes my lashes just look that little bit thicker as well. So this is the final look for look number 3, and this is really pretty, and it's such a beautiful, it's a really spring look, and I'm loving it. Since it's summer here now in New Zealand, it's really lovely to be trying on these later shades. I said it before with the first 2 eye looks, but this looks better on the eye than I thought it was going to. The formula is beautiful, it blends beautifully. I find that it diffuses really beautifully, and I think there is a great variety in here, and you can do a lot of different looks. So now we're going to use this palette, and I'm going to put on some blush. I'm going to go fairly lightly with the blush, I think. I might try a mixture of these two, and then I'll use either one of these shades for a highlight as well. So I'm just going to take my Hourglass brush. This is the F031, and I'm just going to tap in here and here as well, and we'll just see how this looks. It will tie in the whole eye look together, and I do use eyeshadows as a blush. Those of you that have seen my other videos, I don't do it all the time, but every now and then I will use an eyeshadow as a blush as well, and it is a lovely way of just tying it all together. So I'm going to go just dab a little bit more into this brighter pink. And I think that looks really lovely. Those of you that want to go really deep, out of these 2 shades for a blush, I probably would prefer this one actually, and this one looked really beautiful on the eye, but I'm just going to stick with the lighter shades just for my blush. So I'm just going to just tap between the 2 again. Then I'm going to take the Hourglass, this is the KZ03 brush, And I'm going to go into this top shade here for a highlight. So it's more of a warm highlight, but it works really beautifully as that. These were lovely on the eyes too, but just works really, really beautifully as a highlight as well. Now I do have a new Dior lipstick, but I'm not sure whether that one comes out with this Mitzah collection or it's going to come out with the Dior Spring collection. So today I'm going to use the shade 1947. This was from the Milfori collection, and this is in the Dior Addict. And then finally we'll take a look at this face powder. I am hoping that it's not lavender with a whole lot of sparkle in it. These are made in France, and I showed it to you earlier, but the packaging, again, I really love this leopard print. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. So those of you that haven't seen inside these powders, it has a mirror inside, and then you have a little sponge on the top if you want to use that for your application, and then you just open up this part here and the powder is inside, which I haven't opened yet, so I'm going to do that now. So this, I don't want to tip it up too much because some powder comes out when you open it, but this is what the powder looks like. I'm just looking on the monitor. It looks a little bit light. In person, it doesn't look like that it is lavender, and it doesn't appear to have any glitter in it either. It's more of, it's like a dusty sort of rose. I think this is going to be really, really lovely. But if this brightens through this part of my face, then those of you that like to have a brightening powder under your eyes would probably really like this. So let's give this a go. So the powder is very, very fine. Now this does have a scent, but it's very, very subtle. And I'm not quite sure what sort of scent it is. It smells really lovely, but it is incredibly subtle. It's not like something from Guerlain can be quite heavy, so it's not like that at all. Just very, very, very soft scent. So I can see the brightening through here. It's not dramatic. I could probably get more if I used a different type of brush, one that was more dense, but I just want to use a fluffy brush and just do this a lot more of a subtle way. But I do think it is lovely. And then I'm glad that it is subtle, because why I tend to stay away from brightening powders is I don't want all of a sudden it to be very white through here. But I think that a subtle brightening all through here is really, really pretty. So now if most brightening powders are like this, then I'm pretty sold on them. I think they look really lovely, and this is beautiful. And I'm so pleased that it hasn't got any glitter in it. The one from the Milfori collection, the one that I picked up, that has the glitter in it, and I really just picked that more up for the packaging anyway, because that was the one from the Milfori collection, and I think it's really, really beautiful. And because this is so subtle, this brightening powder, I'm actually going to use the applicator that comes with it, and I'll just press that in there, and I'm just going to press that through those areas as well. This is super finely milled. It is a really beautiful powder. So here is the finished look, and altogether I think this looks really, really pretty. This eyeshadow, or the wardrobe that they call it, looks a lot better on the eye than I thought it was going to. Especially these dark shades surprised me as well, and especially this one here. I think this is a really beautiful shade, and it doesn't throw too red at all. I think it's really, really beautiful, and I don't think it gave me that look where I've got sore eyes. Really lovely different colours. People are either going to really love this palette, or they're going to hate it. This is something that people don't want the pinks, they don't want the reds, and they feel that it doesn't suit them. But there are a lot of people that also love this type of colour story as well. It is a very spring palette, and I think it's really pretty. And the shadows in this just performed really beautifully, and I love how it looks as a blush as well and just ties the whole look together. I think it's really lovely. Like I said though, even though I don't think it's a face palette, I don't think these shades are really a bronzing shade for me, although like I said, they may be for people with a darker skin tone. But perhaps instead of just an eyeshadow wardrobe palette, they could have called it eyeshadow and cheeks, maybe something like that, because a lot of these shades can be used as blush as well, and these two make really beautiful highlight shades. So I think this is really lovely, and once again I do think that the packaging is just absolutely stunning. I did forget to say that the eyeshadows in this palette do have a shelf life of 6 months from date of opening, just like all the other Dior Quints that I have. But from experience with the Dior Quints, they last a lot longer than the 6 months. And a real surprise for me, and something that I think people that are into these brightening face powders, I think that you're going to really love this. Not a sign of glitter in it. It is super finely milled. It gave a very subtle brightening, but it gave a really beautiful finish to my skin. It really just softened everything up, and I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. So not only is the packaging beautiful, but I'll be using the product inside this as well. I think this is really lovely. So really pleased with the things that I have tried out so far. I think it's really lovely, but like I said, with the eyeshadow wardrobe palette, this is either going to be a color story for you or something that you want to skip, but definitely versatile in that you can use it as eyeshadow and a blush and highlight as well. And if you're brave, use those deeper colors for a bronzer as well. So that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.